The stars hung like frozen fire against the endless black of space. Through this cosmic ocean moved the Imperial flagship Sovereign, its hull gleaming silver under the light of distant suns. On the command bridge, Fleet Commander Zarok stood with his 4 arms clasped behind his back, his scaled blue skin reflecting the glow of control panels. "How much longer until we reach this Earth?" he asked, the alien word awkward on his forked tongue. 2 hours, Commander," replied his second-in-command, Officer Krell, tapping a holographic display. "Our scout ships report minimal defensive capabilities. They've barely reached their own moon." Commander Zarok nodded, his 3 eyes narrowing with satisfaction. The Galactic Dominion had sent him on dozens of first contact missions. This one seemed barely worth his time. These humans had primitive technology, their planet divided into squabbling nations. They would join the Dominion quickly, or face the consequences. "Prepare the intimidation formation," Zarok ordered. "Let's show these primitives what real power looks like." Behind the Sovereign, 30 warships arranged themselves in perfect formation. Each vessel could destroy a city from orbit. The display had worked on hundreds of other species. It would work on humans, too. As the Dominion fleet approached Earth's solar system, they detected unusual activity. The humans had spotted them and were scrambling their own vessels, tiny, awkward things powered by chemical rockets. Commander Zarok almost laughed at the sight on the view screen. "Look at those pathetic ships," Officer Krell sneered. "They use combustion engines. How have they not destroyed themselves?" "Remember, officer, we were all primitive once," Zarok said, though he couldn't hide his smirk. "Open communication channels." The main screen flickered. A human face appeared. A woman with short gray hair and calm brown eyes. She wore a dark blue uniform with simple insignia. "Unknown vessels, this is Earth Defense Command. General Sarah Mitchell speaking. You have entered restricted space. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Commander Zarok drew himself to his full height, nearly 9 feet tall. "I am Commander Zarok of the Galactic Dominion. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our glorious civilization. We come to offer you the honor of joining as a protectorate." General Mitchell's expression didn't change. "And if we decline this honor?" The question surprised Zarok. Most species begged to join after seeing the fleet. "Then we would be forced to demonstrate why protection is necessary," Zarok said coldly. "The galaxy is dangerous. It would be unfortunate if you faced those dangers alone." General Mitchell nodded slowly. "I see. Let me be clear, Commander. Earth is not interested in becoming anyone's protectorate. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations, but we will defend our sovereignty." Officer Krell couldn't contain his laughter. "Defend with what? Those metal cans you call spaceships?" Zarok raised a hand to silence his subordinate, but the damage was done. General Mitchell's eyes hardened. "We may lack your technology, Commander, but we have something your Dominion seems to lack: respect for others. I suggest you reconsider your approach." The transmission ended abruptly. Commander Zarok stared at the blank screen. Most species submitted immediately. These humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. "They dare to reject us?" Officer Krell sputtered. "The primitives!" "Send a scout ship to their orbital stations," Zarok ordered. "Let's see how they react." One of the smaller Dominion ships broke formation and moved toward Earth's orbit, where several space stations and satellites floated peacefully. "Commander," the sensor officer reported, "the humans are launching something. Small vessel, primitive design, but moving at surprising speed." On the view screen, they watched a human ship approach their scout vessel. It was tiny, perhaps 1/10 the size, with a boxy utilitarian design. "Are they attacking us with that?" Officer Krell laughed. But Commander Zarok wasn't laughing. Something felt wrong. "Order our scout to maintain distance." Too late. The human vessel suddenly accelerated with unexpected agility. It approached the Dominion scout and seemed to attach itself to the hull. "What are they doing?" Zarok demanded. Before anyone could answer, a bright flash filled the screen. When it cleared, The Dominion scout ship was drifting, all systems offline. The human vessel had detached and was retreating rapidly to Earth. "Impossible," Officer Krell shouted. "They disabled an Imperial ship? How?" Commander Zarok stared in disbelief. "Analysis. What happened?" "Electromagnetic weapon, Commander," the science officer reported after a moment. "Simple technology, but effectively deployed. Our scout systems are rebooting now." A cold feeling settled in Zarok's stomach. No newly discovered species had ever damaged a Dominion vessel during first contact. It was unheard of. "Commander, we're receiving another transmission from Earth." General Mitchell's face reappeared. "That was a warning shot, Commander. We prefer peace, but we are prepared for the alternative. You have 24 hours to leave our solar system." The transmission ended. Zarok stood in stunned silence. These humans showed no fear. They had fought back and succeeded. "Recall all ships," Zarok finally ordered. "We need to report this to the High Council. These humans are unusual." As the Dominion fleet retreated to a safe distance, Zarok gazed at the small blue planet on the view screen. For the first time in his long career, he felt uncertain. The Dominion had encountered thousands of species, none quite like these humans. "This isn't over," he murmured. "We'll be back, and next time we won't underestimate you." Little did he know, the Dominion's worst nightmare was just beginning. The Council Chambers, 3 months later. The Dominion Council Chambers buzzed with tension. Commander Zarek stood before the High Council, explaining the embarrassing first contact for the 20th time. "You're certain their technology was primitive?" asked Council Leader Vorath, his massive crystalline form pulsing with irritation. "Yes, Council Leader. Chemical rockets, combustion engines. Their EMP weapon was likely a lucky strike." Vorath's crystalline facets darkened. "Then we shall send a proper response. Show these humans what it means to defy the Dominion." Before Zarek could respond, a junior officer burst into the chambers, a severe breach of protocol. "Forgive me, Council Leader," he gasped, dropping to his knees. "Long-range sensors have detected something entering our territory in Sector 9. "What is it?" Vorath demanded. "It appears to be a human ship, sir." Laughter rippled through the council chamber. One small human ship was hardly a threat. "And this required interrupting our council?" asked Vorath coldly. The officer trembled. "Sir, the ship is massive, nearly the size of our largest battlecruiser, and the energy readings, they're off the charts." The laughter died instantly. "Impossible," Zarek whispered. 3 months ago, they could barely reach their own moon." Vorath rose from his seat. "Commander Zarek, take your battle group to intercept this vessel. Determine if it's truly from Earth, and if so, how they've advanced so quickly." The interception. The Dominion battle group dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Sector 9. 5 sleek warships arranged themselves in attack formation. On the bridge of the lead ship, Relentless, Commander Zarek studied the view screen. What he saw made his breath catch. The ship was enormous, nearly as large as their biggest battlecruiser. But the design was completely different. Where Dominion ships were sleek and elegant, this vessel was blocky and overbuilt, with thick armor plating and what appeared to be multiple redundant systems. "That can't be a human warship," Zarek said quietly. "They're hailing us, Commander." On screen, a human face appeared, a man with close-cropped gray hair and steady blue eyes. He wore a simple dark uniform. "This is Captain James Torres of the Earth vessel Defiant. We come in peace and request diplomatic talks with the Galactic Dominion." Zarek studied the human carefully. "Commander, your ship's capabilities exceed our intelligence on human technology by centuries. Explain." Captain Torres smiled slightly. "Commander, we've been watching the stars for a long time. Did you really think we'd reveal all our capabilities to the first aliens who showed up making threats? You're claiming this advancement was hidden when we first contacted Earth. Not hidden, just not displayed. Your approach didn't exactly inspire trust." Zarek's tactical mind raced. If the humans had deceived us about their technology, what else had they hidden? "Sir," his science officer whispered urgently. "Our scans show their power source is some form of controlled fusion, but using principles our scientists believed were theoretically impossible." Zarek kept his face neutral. "Captain Torres, the Dominion High Council has authorized me to conduct preliminary negotiations. Would you be willing to come aboard my vessel?" "I'd be delighted, but I must bring a small security detail." "Of course, we'll prepare for your arrival." As the communication ended, Zarek turned to his crew. "Full analysis of that ship. I want to know everything before they arrive, and alert the High Council immediately." The revelation. An hour later, Captain Torres stood in the meeting room of the Relentless, accompanied by 3 human officers. "Your ship is remarkable," Zarek began carefully. "Our scientists are particularly interested in your power source." Torres nodded. "Controlled fusion. We've been working on it for centuries." "But the containment system you're using shouldn't be possible," the Dominion science officer protested. "The energy required to maintain such stability would exceed the output." One of the human officers, a woman with short black hair, smiled. "That would be true if you approached it from an energy containment perspective. We approached it from a material science angle instead." "Material science?" Zarek repeated, confused. "While you developed energy fields to contain plasma, we developed materials that could physically hold it. Different path, same destination." Zarek felt a chill run down his spine. The Dominion had always focused on energy manipulation, considering physical materials primitive. Had they been wrong? "And your weapon systems?" he asked carefully. "We prefer not to discuss those unless necessary," Torres replied. "We're here to talk peace, not war." Zarek nodded slowly. "Of course. However, you must understand our concern. 3 months ago, you could barely reach your own moon. Now you arrive in a warship rivaling our best vessels." "As I said, Commander, we've been watching the stars for a long time. We knew we weren't alone, so we prepared. When you arrived making threats, we simply accelerated our timeline."
Before Zarek could respond, his communication device buzzed. "Excuse me," he said, stepping away. "Sir," came his sensor officer's urgent voice, "we've detected energy signatures from the human vessel. They've activated weapon systems." Zarek glanced back at the humans, who waited calmly. "Are they targeting us?" "No, sir, but the energy output, whatever they're powering up, could potentially disable our entire battle group." Zarek returned to the table, face carefully composed. "Captain Torres, our sensors indicate your ship has activated weapons. Care to explain?" Torres's expression didn't change. "Just a precaution, Commander. Your High Council dispatched another fleet to our location. They'll arrive within the hour. We wanted to be prepared in case diplomacy fails." Zarek felt his hearts racing. How had the humans detected the reinforcements? How had they built such advanced sensors? "I assure you there's no need for weapons," Zarek said, trying to sound steady. "The Council merely wishes to ensure talks proceed smoothly." "Of course," Torres said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Then we'll continue our discussion. Now, about establishing formal diplomatic relations between Earth and your Dominion." As talks proceeded, Zarek couldn't shake the feeling that everything the Dominion thought they knew about humans was wrong, and that realization terrified him more than any weapon ever could. The battle. The diplomatic talks collapsed within days. The High Council demanded Earth submit to Dominion oversight. The humans refused. Council leader Vorath, enraged by what he saw as primitive defiance, ordered the Dominion Armada to attack. 20 battle cruisers against 1 human ship. Commander Zarek led the attack personally, commanding the flagship Conqueror. The 20 sleek vessels arranged themselves in perfect formation, energy weapons charged, shields at maximum. Before them floated the Defiant, alone, seemingly vulnerable. "Open communications," Zarek ordered. "Captain Torres, this is your final opportunity to surrender and submit to Dominion authority." Torres smiled slightly. "Admiral, we came seeking peace. You chose war. What happens next is on your conscience." "You threaten us with a single ship?" Zarek laughed. "Your confidence borders on madness." Not confidence, mathematics, Torres replied. You still don't understand what you're facing, but you will. The transmission ended. All ships, fire. 20 battle cruisers fired simultaneously, energy weapons creating a deadly light show in the darkness of space. To everyone's shock, the energy beams bent around the human vessel, sliding off it like water off glass. What happened? Zarak demanded. Report. Sir, his weapons officer stammered. They appear to have some sort of gravitational shield. It's bending our energy weapons away from the hull. Impossible. No shield technology can... Sir, the human ship is powering up its weapons. On the view screen, panels slid open along the Defiant's hull, revealing what looked like primitive gun barrels. They're using projectile weapons in space? Zarak scoffed. How primitive. The sensor officer's voice shook. Sir, those aren't ordinary projectiles. They're accelerating to near light speed. The energy readings are off the charts. Before Zarak could respond, the Defiant fired. There was no beam of light, no visible energy discharge, just silent, invisible death that tore through the Relentless, one of their most advanced battlecruisers. Its shields, designed to stop energy weapons, offered zero protection against physical objects moving at such speeds. Evasive maneuvers, Zarak shouted. All ships scatter. But the Defiant was already firing again and again. Each shot precisely targeted, devastatingly effective. Dominion battlecruisers, the pride of their fleet, were being disabled one by technology the Dominion had dismissed as primitive centuries ago. Sir, we've lost 6 ships already, 3 destroyed, 3 disabled. How? Zarak demanded. How can one ship do this? The sensor officer looked up, face pale. Sir, their targeting is perfect, sir. They've calculated the exact point to hit each ship to disable primary systems, and their rate of fire, it's beyond anything we've ever encountered. On screen, they watched the Defiant methodically target another vessel. This time they could see clearly. A small metal projectile, no bigger than a finger, but moving at mere light speed. The energy was enormous, punching through the ship's hull like paper. Sir, they're hailing us. Torres appeared again, expression now serious. Commander Zarak, you've lost 9 ships. None of your weapons can penetrate our shields. Stop this before more lives are lost. Zarak stared in disbelief. Half his fleet disabled or destroyed in less than 10 minutes. The human ship hadn't taken a single hit. What are you? He whispered. Just humans, Commander. We simply took a different path. While you perfected energy weapons, we focused on kinetics. While you built elegant single-core computers, we built redundant networks. While you refined minimal designs, we overbuilt everything. Another Dominion battlecruiser exploded silently in the background. Our shields aren't energy fields trying to stop your weapons. They're gravitational lenses, bending space itself to divert attacks. Different approach, better results. Zarak felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries. Fear. The Dominion had always believed its technology was supreme. Now, facing the brutal effectiveness of human engineering, he wasn't sure anymore. Stand down all weapons, he finally ordered, voice barely audible. All ships, cease fire. A collective gasp went through the bridge. Never in living memory had a Dominion fleet retreated. Sir? The weapons officer questioned uncertainly. You heard me, Zarak said more firmly. We cannot win this fight. Not today. He turned back to the screen. We will withdraw our forces, Captain, but know this, the Dominion does not forget. This is not over. Torres nodded solemnly. We hope for peace, Commander, but we are prepared for the alternative. As the surviving Dominion ships limped away, Zarak stared at the Defiant through the view screen. One ship had defeated half the Dominion armada. The implications were staggering. A new order. News of the defeat spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The Dominion, which had ruled for 10,000 years, had been humbled by a species they'd dismissed as primitive. In the council chambers, everything changed. Council leader Vorath faced unprecedented pressure. Some demanded all-out war, others called for negotiation. And Earth? The humans deployed 17 more ships across Dominion space, not attacking, just observing, a quiet demonstration that they could position forces anywhere they wished to. When Captain Torres returned to the council chambers, he brought a proposal, not an empire ruled by one species, but a confederation of equals, each contributing their unique perspectives and technologies. Your dominion began as a force for stability. You brought order to a chaotic galaxy, but systems must evolve or they stagnate. For the first time in 10 millennia, the Dominion faced a species it could not simply overwhelm. Council leader Vorath studied the human captain thoughtfully. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "it is time for the Dominion to evolve." As word spread that the mighty Dominion was negotiating with humans as equals, other species began reconsidering their place in the galactic order. A new era was beginning, not through conquest, but through recognition that different paths could lead to similar destinations. On the bridge of the Defiant, Captain Torres received the Council's response and smiled. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not by becoming like other species, but by remaining uniquely human, innovative, adaptive, and endlessly resourceful. The real work was just beginning. Closing text. The galaxy believed elegant solutions were always superior. Earth proved that sometimes the best answer is the one that simply refuses to break. Fade to black with triumphant music.